Hello and welcome to this crash course. What we're going to be doing now today is to build out this fantastic looking application, right? And it's actually a full stack application. So we're going to start up, by building the UIs first. Like I'll build out the landing page, which is the home page, then go over to the shop and so on, right? So then we'll start the actual implementation of this application from the backend, right? So far, this is how far we've come. I'm going to show you, demo it to you what we have currently. You can access it via this link. And this is it. This is what we have. Looking good. This is the hero section. So scroll down. You basically have the range section. Scroll down a bit, you have the product section. So when you hover over a product, you kind of see that cool, lets you know, effect that we have there, right? So that's actually done with Figma motion, kind of basic. And also we have this, this setup section, right? And then we have the footer, right? So this is good. And then you can check out the shop part by clicking on the shop button. So this should take you to a page where you can view more of those products. So don't worry, most of this product will actually be coming from the actual endpoint, right? You can see show here, you can actually select whatever you want to show and so on. You can select a filter that you want to filter by, right? So these are the things that will basically like integrate with an actual endpoint in the future. So you can see we have more of the products here because this is more of a product page, and then we can have a custom navigation, right? So if you click on it, it takes you to the other page, right? So, but the way we want to do it during the integration, we want to make sure that it doesn't reload the page. It just, fetches new data and update the virtual DOM instantaneously. And also we have the banner section here, and then we have the footer. So this is what we'll be building in this very first module of the application. And then yes, I would actually love to hear you guys feedback regarding what and what you want to be you want integrated in this platform, right? Because I've already like demoed a couple of things that has to do with the backend architecture and so on. So these are the things that we'll be going through during this lesson, right? So all right. All right, so yeah, so let's grab the mobile version of this. I forgot to demo this, like minimize this a bit. And obviously, just take us back to the initial stage, which is this. Good, good, good. So I'm going to do is going to demo it here. Okay, so put it around here. And you can see this is our navigation. Very good. And then scroll down, you can see the way that every component is pretty much responsive. We still have all the cool features within it, and all the details are still there. And then we have the filter. So this is the mobile version of this application, right? All right. So let's get started. Hello and welcome back. All right. So what we're going to be doing is kind of it's going to be a very robust kind of system. So we'll start up with building out the actual home page that we have here, right? So move on to this is actually an e-commerce platform, by the way. So it's going to have all the features, right? So it depends on the feedback I get. So if it's something I had to basically like build out the entire functionality, starting from home, shop, about, contact, and being able to use Stripe to do the proper checkout, right? So then I think I will show you guys how you can, worry about subscriptions and or if we want to integrate one, right? So we're starting with this part. So this one will be the part of module one, right? We'll be building this out. And after that, we're going to build the shop, right? So the shop is actually part of module two. So we'll reuse some of the components we've already created in module one to build out the module two, which is the shop. And also we're going to move on here. So this is more of the call this a single product view page. So here we basically we can play around with all of this, right? We have like lots of pictures, you can change the colors and so on. So we're implementing this, I think, in the third module. And then so also with this, right? So this and this go alongside together. So we'll be implementing both of them, accordingly in the third module, right? And also we have the product page and we have the cart, list of carts, items. We have the checkout page. So when I click on place order, this is where we'll redirect them to using Stripe directly. So all those features might not really be present. We'll just take them off. We'll just need a way for them to be able to pay with Stripe, and then it gets the corresponding value has been processed, right? So we're going to do quite a lot. And for the contact page here, so here we can actually consider things like using resend to send our emails and so on, right? So we just want to keep it as minimalistic as possible. And then we also have the blog section, right? So just drop for me a feedback on all these modules, the ones that you think are really important to be implemented, and we can just leave out the ones that you feel is not that important. All right, so here we're going to start off by building the actual landing page, and where we have it, we already have the project, we have the starter branch, and then we have the main branch. And what we want to do is to just clone. So you click on this code, then you copy the clonable link. And what I'm going to do is just going to go over to my desktop, go here, maybe desktop, and you see project right here. So I'm just going to open up my terminal, and in here, so what I'm going to do is to, obviously just, clone the repository. So the link I just copied, I already have it. But before it, I'm just going to do git clone. Okay, so this is going to try to clone that repository so we can have access to it locally. So it's cloning now, and it's just going to take some few seconds, and we should be good, right? So yeah, let's wait it out a couple of seconds, and we should be good. This could be my network, to be honest. It's always on the average faster than this, right? Okay, so I think I'm able to access this. Maybe I will just try to do it again. Obviously, network issue. Okay, so it's actually cloning now, and yeah, there we go. So we have it now. I'm going to seed into the repository. There we go. So you can see that by default, I'm in the main branch. But in your case, you have to switch this to the starter branch, right? So you can just do git checkout starter. You can see this should be able to change the branch to the starter branch right here, right? Which is fine. All right. So me, I'm working on the main branch. I'm just going to switch it back to main. All right. So now that we are here, the very next thing we do, we're already here now via the terminal. So the very next thing we do is to be able to, install our node modules, right? So the way we do that is to just do npm install. This should be able to install all our node modules. So while we're installing our packages, I'm just going to open up the actual project. Okay, so yeah, so this is the default setup of the project, right? And we're going to go to app and go to layout. So you can see this is actually our layout. So what I will do, I'm going to increase the font a bit so you guys can see it properly. And I'm just going to change the title of the app. So let's give this one funny room. E-commerce. So we could change the description a bit. Get any items fly. So it's going to be any furniture item. So any furniture items on the fly. That's good. Okay. Yeah, so while we are still waiting for it to install, which it has, fortunately, and that is good. So the next thing we do is to be able to start up our developmental server. And the way we do that, it's very easy. Just npm dev command. This should be able to start up the local development server for this project. Right, so it's going to take a while, but immediately we get our link, we're going to hit it just like this. We're going to hit our link. Right, so it's going to start compiling, right? So compilation process for Next.js, I've noticed takes some time, like few seconds, to be honest. And once compiled, you should be able to see the actual page, right? Okay, so wait for that to happen. And while we're waiting, we can easily just go to the project. Let's get the font configuration. Let's see the font has been used, right? Let's select this one. This Poppins. Poppins. Okay, good. Poppins. Okay, so far so good. And what I can basically like detect is that we're using the Poppins font, and which is fine. So that means we basically have to set up our Next.js to be able to use the Poppins font, right? So the way you set this up, it's very easy, as I always say. So where by default, Next comes with yeah, Next font package. This was actually separate before, but when you're using much more newer version of Next.js, you have this inbuilt, right? So instead of having inside here, you're going to have Poppins, right? And this Poppins is what you're just going to pass in. And the thing now is that different forms has their own different configurations. Some might not really have all of these widths, but kind of fortunately, Inter and Poppins basically has the same configuration, right? So we can use with 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 up the way to 700. Okay, so I think by now we should have our setup on the actual application. So you can see if I refresh this, you can see that this is actually coming in. Our font is already changed. So how do I know that? So I just inspect this, right, and select any of these texts, right. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to class name. This is the body. You can see we already have Poppins coming in as expected right here, right. So this is exactly how it is, and with this you already know that we're using the Poppins font. Good. Okay, so now that we have that, the next thing we do is to basically try to export our different assets, right? All the different assets we think, are necessary to build out this page. Okay, so yeah, I think the first one we have here is the actual logo. So I'm just going to obviously group this together by using the Ctrl-G command, and we want to export it as a single asset. So this is it. We can export this. Okay, click on this. Right, I'm going to just delete all of this one. Okay, very good. So this will be our logo. Okay, so we have a couple of icons here. So let's see. Oh, I think this is actually using like Ant Design or whatever that is, but it's fine. We could use exact same icons, or we could build our own custom one. So yeah, so we could just use what we have, right? So suggest we do that. This is for my Conify, by the way, so it's fine. So we select it out. So this is it. Spot. This will be the human icon or the profile. So that's our user icon. So we'll go over to this one. This is our search. Okay, so have it selected like this and click on the export tab and export. Okay, so this will be our search. So I have to rename this a bit. Okay, so then we'll go over this one. So we have the export, and this will be the art icon. Okay, select this export. This will be the cart icon. Alright, so very good. I think we have most of the icons there. And let's go back to this page. So yeah, we basically have like an arrow picture right here. So what we're going to do is to use a plugin to get the exact. Sometimes you don't need a plugin, but in this case, I think we can just export what we have. Let's check it out if it's really in full format. Very good. So we have it full, but this is a bad idea. Why? It's very simple. Whenever you have an image and you have like a text overlay like this is a no-no, right? Because this button you see right here is actually clickable, right? So you don't want that to be an image, right? So all we need in this particular implementation is everything here in the background, not here, right? So we don't need this part. Okay, very good. So what we're going to do now that we know what we want, so we're just going to use our plugins. So you can go right click on here, click on the plugins tab, and then you have this plugin called export original images. Just in case you don't have it, you can go to manage plugins and just search for it. Right, I already have it. I'm just going to click on it. So it's going to take a while to come up. So if I have this one selected like this, I need to look for the exact image, which I think is this one, by the way. Oh, we already have the image, which is cool. Right, so I could export it with this one if I want to by clicking on the export button, right? And yeah, I should be able to have it. So let's check it out. Boom. So this is actually our background, right? So every other thing still follows, but we don't have those buttons and text, which makes sense. Okay, so we're just going to rename this to hero. Can remove this, not necessary. And then in here we have a couple of other images, right? So here we have 3. So I'm just going to select each one and export them accordingly, right? So this is the first one. Let's see if maybe what we have here is better. So it's just a raw image, so it's fine. So export. So this one has to do with is that the second one? Okay. So what I normally do in this case looks all scattered. I can just grab everything. I can take hold the Alt button and drag it out. Alright, so yeah, so I can now play around with like exactly what's maybe on group. Right, so we can actually separate quite a lot. Okay, so we basically have this image, we have another one as well. So let's do this one out. Okay, it's going off for some weird reason. So it's been masked. So I hate it when images are done this way. But let's see if there's a way we can grab all of these guys. Okay, so this is the second one. So I just click on export. Very good. So this section is browse image, some of BTR. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rename what we have here into BTR_2. Okay, so that would be the BTR image. So for the first one though, and I have to reset this to make sure it's big again. Very good. So for the first one, that's the first image, which is this. It's very very large. So I'm just going to export it. Yes, this one will be BTR_1. Okay, and we have the third one, right? We have this one, so we can just export. So this will be BTR_3. All right. Okay, good. Okay, and take this off. Necessary. Okay, so now we have quite a lot of other, other images. We have all of them here. So let's see if we can, export them individually. So let's open this up. This one here. This is our product section here. So I'm just going to, proceed these ones with P. Right, so this one with P1. Let's grab the second one. Export. Okay, this is actually zipped. Let's look inside what we see. Okay, 1, 2, 7. Okay, so here we have, is this the first one? Yes, this is the first one. So this is product underscore one. What about this one? Okay, this is the second one. Oops, that's nice. And the night one. Okay, trying to figure out where the night one might be. Okay, that's not really it. I mean this one. Okay, so this is actually a setup, which I cannot find anyway. Okay, so we have to look into them individually to make sure that they are, they are the right ones. Okay, so I'm just going to cut all of this and take it to downloads. Okay, so this one will be P arrow product 2. Okay, let's check image 3. Okay, that's P3. Alright, let's check image 4. That's like a silly fan. Okay, that is not it. Let's check the 5th one. Okay, so we have the 2nd one. We have the 8th one. Okay. So yeah, we have P1, P2, P3. I can't seem to find this P4 anyway. So, okay, maybe I'll just export it. It's fine. It's gonna be a zip format, by the way. Okay, it's gonna take a couple of seconds, but that should just work. Taking longer than expected. Okay, very good. So this will be P4, right? Okay, let's go to the 5th one. Here you can just check the export plane. Oh, we have it here, so this will be quicker. So this one will be P5. Okay, so this will be P_5. Right, so this one is the P6 part. Right, so I just have to select it and click on export. There we go. Okay, P_6. Okay, click on export. Export image. This will be P7. Okay, let's see 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this should be P8. Alright, very good. So I think we have all those images, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove all of these image 8 something, not necessary anymore. Okay, so I think for the most part, that's good. So one other thing I think I missed is these little icons, right? So this is the share, this is the compare, and this is the like. So I'm just going to select this. So export. So this it is white. So you can do the SVG, but I think PNG is fine. So this one will be the share icon. So this is going to be the share icon. And so there we'll go with this one. Okay, so we have this will be the compare icon. Okay, and lastly we have the heart icon, right? We already have a similar heart, but I'll just call this the like icon, right? I think that works. Okay, so that's the like icon. Nice, nice. Okay, so now that we have all of these good for us, so we can quickly go to the beautiful room section so we can grab these images. I don't know how many there are, but I could just grab the ones I have access to. So what I would do, I can just select it and hold the alt icon and shift it to the left. So that didn't work out well, but let's see if it's everything that is concerning here. Okay, something like that. Okay, yeah, something like that will work. So let's kill this frame, move that. Yeah, so this is exactly all the different things we have, right? All the different images. So this is the first one. So let's grab this one. Export. Very good. So this will be the room. So it's going to be arrow_1. Okay. And this one too. Click on export. So just to mention, if for example we can compare here, so let's say we could export the format of this one. Okay, so if it's the same with what we already have, good for us. Okay, it's the same, so I wanted to check the quality. Well, not really the same, yes. If you see we export like that, we kind of get a full representation. But when you export using this rectangular structure from Figma, you get a much more shorter version, which doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with what we already have, right? So I'm going to remove this, right, and do this one, but as arrow2. I'm just going to rename this to arrow_2, and obviously we do the same thing for the third. So we have that, and this will be arrow_3. I'm going to do that one, and yeah, I think we're good to go, right? So we have this one, and we can just export this one as well to be sure we're on the right track. Right, so we're going to compare this with this. Okay, so it seems the same to me. Yeah, it seems more the same, so we can forget about it. That's nice. All right, good. So let's move on into the last asset section. So this one, I think a very smart way to approach this kind of layout, most of the time that I would recommend, is that you should, export it as an image, right? So don't go through the stress of trying to mimic the layout and stuff like that, right? So what we can do is to try to drag it out, remove the part that you do not need, like all of this part, take them off, take them up, right? So just to mention, just in case you have any project, any Figma link or design that you have, but you don't really know how to be able to go around removing and modifying all of these elements. First off, what you normally do is to draft it, right? For you to be able to create a duplicate of any design, all you have to do is to click on here, right here, and then you can see the option duplicate. So when you have this, you can be able to have your own copy of that design, and you can do whatever you want with it, like ungrouping and doing all those stuff. I hope that makes sense. All right, so we already have our image setup, which is this. And one thing I'm just going to do, I'm going to check the export panel to see if it's coming in as expected. You can see it doesn't have a background, so it's pretty much transparent, which is good. And what we can do at this stage is just for us to export it, export the hell out of it, and that should be good, right? I'm just going to export it now, and there we go. This is the share. So I think we're going to name this kind of in a descriptive manner. So this under share your setup, right? So could just rename this to share your setup, right? So yeah, that is it. And also finally we have the footer logo. So let's export this as well. Click on export, export this. So I'm going to rename this to the footer. Okay, very good. Right, so as I was saying before, we're building out like two different sections. We build out this one, and then we build out this one as well, right? So if there's any other image that I feel like, oh, I need in this part, so what I can do is to just export it, right? So these are the two sections I'm building in the first two modules of this project. And what I'm going to do here is to just select this image, and I don't know if it's going to come well with export, but what I normally do, I would like to do it with this plugin first. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, that is it actually. That is it, but it's looking very weird. But I don't understand. This is the full image, but when you export, it's going to give you something different but very close to the design. So this is what we have in the image, but ideally this is how it is. It is the original image. So we have to think of this here. So we can use either one depending on how simple it is to implement, right? Just to to cut things short, we could use this one first and then worry about this one later, right? So let's use rectangle 1 1. So let's go back rectangle 1 1. I'm going to go rename this to shop bureau. Very good. You can call this shop. Yeah, that will be the full image of it, just in case we need it. And also, I think we already have majority of all of these images, so I will not be exporting this. But what I will do, we have a couple of icons that I think are important. So we have the filter icon right here. So I'm going to click on export so we can see it here. I'm going to export it, and it's going to be filter icon. So we'll name it real quick to filter icon. Alright, so this is the filter icon, so you can see. And the very next thing that we want to worry about is this other one. So this one though is I don't know what the hell this does, but let's see. Oh, it's grid, right? So this should have like two different view. But fortunately we don't have it on the design, but I think we're just showing that, oh, this is actually a grid view by default. Here we can put it. It's not really like selectable or anything. Yeah, it's just for aesthetics, I think. So I click on export and export this, and I'm going to rename this to grid icon. And this one, I don't know what is the view list. Oh, this grid view, this list. Okay, we don't really have them, but I could make them work, right, using the Shadcn data table if I want to do it in a list format. So I will just include it for now. Okay, export that, and this would be our list icon. All right, good. Okay. Okay, so we've scrolled the way down. Then the other one that is important is this part, right? So I'm going to grab all of these icons and export it appropriately. So this is going to be I don't know what this section is, but let's call this is a banner, right? So let's say banner. Okay, banner icon 1. Okay, let's export the second one. Okay, let's go with the third one. Okay, and finally, let's go for the fourth. Okay, so I think with this we are good. These are all the different icons we'll be needing for the first two modules of this course, right? And yeah, so we can start now with the actual implementation, right? All right, very good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close out the things we don't need like this, close it out. And I'm going to bring all of these assets into the project. So I'm just going to open the project up. And in the public, let me close this out, close all of this. In the public folder, I'm going to create a new folder called images. Right, so in here, in the download folder where I have all the images, I'm just going to do Ctrl A command and then Ctrl C. But if you are on, if you're on Mac, you want to use Command C and Command A and Command C to copy it. Right, so okay, so now that we have that, you can come in here and just paste them in. Either you paste them in or you just drag and drop, right? It shouldn't be a huge deal. Okay, so we have all the different images coming in expected. Very good. Very good. We have my hero images. Here's the logo. Hero. Nice. Okay. I think with this we can start worrying about different page, right? So now we're going to have two pages. Okay, we're going to have the home page and the shop page, right? So I'm going to build out a skeletal representation of each of them. And I go to source app. So when you're using Next.js, if you're using the app router, which Next14 is based off of, or Next13 as the case may be, anything you define, any folder you define within the app folder is officially a link, right? So the way this will work normally is that you can come in here and you can just create a new folder. Let's call this we can call this home, right? Either you call it home or you can call it like store, right? I think the other page is store or shop, actually shop. So rename this quickly to shop, right? And so this page is the entry point of the application. So this can just be your actual page. Not really a problem. This is the index page. So in this index page, I'm going to take off everything, and I'm just going to, walk it down or know everything we need. So in this shop, I'm going to do okay. So we have hello world index. Can remove this needed. And the shop, we are going to create a new file. This one is going to be page.tsx. So in this page, we need a way to be able to, work with a couple of things. And yeah, so it's basically you can use the React functional component to export. Yeah, so we're going to call this shop page. It's going to be on page, so we're consistent. All right, so let's see. There we go. We can see we have the home page, and whenever you do /shop, you should be able to have a shop page. Fantastic, right? So that's why the app router it's very elaborate. It gives you the privilege to be able to play around with things like this. Okay, so on the home page, we are going to need a couple of components, right? We're going to need the navigation. We're going to use the home page here. So I'm going to remove all of this. And we're going to need the navbar. We already have this prebuilt. And we're going to have the hero section. So we don't have it yet, so let's create one. In the components folder, you're going to create a new folder, call it sessions. Right, so in this section, we're going to have the hero section.csx. Right, there we go. So after the hero section, we have the browse the range section. Right, so I'm just going to create a new file. So we have the browse the range section. Okay. And then we have our product section. Let's do it. So our product section. Okay. How everything is coming in as expected. Good. And then we have the room section. Okay, so this would be the room section that we have here. And then we have the share your setup, right? So we just call it the share section, share setup section. Okay, nice. And finally, we have the footer section. Sweet. So now we can now start up by arranging them within the index, right? Based on the order of appearance. So we have the navbar, we have the hero. Then we have the browse the range. So we have our product. And we have the room. And then we have the share setup. And finally we have the footer. Okay, so this is it. This is actually for the first landing page. So this makes sense now, right? So what I want to do is to start working on each of them and making them as we have them on the design. So I'm just going to go back so you can see this is everything that's coming in by default, right? Which is not bad, right? So I think the background is actually white by default. So I'm just going to configure that. So PG white, right? Okay, so yeah, one other thing I think we didn't set up is a color scheme, right? So we have a couple of blacks in here. So I think the primary color is the color of this button, right? So this will be our primary color. So what I'm going to do, I'll go to tailwind.config.ts. In the extend block, I'm just going to add colors here. just going to add colors, and this colors I'm going to say, okay, this is primary. Okay, all right, so the primary part, I'm just going to copy this one and paste it in to the hash. Okay, so that will be our primary color for the most part. So this black that we have here, this is actually different. This will be our custom dark. So I can just call it black. That should override the default, black. This one will be our subtitle. Or we can just do this custom way. Okay, so now we already know that we have the primary, we have the custom black, and then at the same time we have the custom gray, which is good, right? Which is good. Okay, so let's see if there are other color combinations that we might need. So this is the same thing as P88, right? So this is not the primary, so that makes sense. This one is our custom black. Very good. I think those are how the colors we will be needing for the most part. And this one we can just, this is, put this one as error. Error. So this one will be for success. Okay, so yeah, I think this makes sense from the looks of it. So what I'm going to do now is to to start building out the actual component to match what we have in the actual design. So now this other thing I would mention, it's more of a common thing. Whenever you make all these modifications to the tailwind.config, I always advise you to restart your local server. I'm going to clear it out and restart it. Right, nice. So it's coming in now, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is to work on the navigation. Close this out, go to nav bar, and first of all, I'm just going to change all of this logo. So this one is actually images slash logo dot png. Okay, so let's see. Boom, is coming in. Nice, nice. So one other way I would love to separate this the structure of this navigation is the way we have it. We have it in like 3 different grid items, right? So I'm not using grid by the way, but there's a way I can make that with flex as well. So in here we have home, shop, about, and contact. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to create an array of links. Okay, always links. Title of the link. So we can call this home. Where does it point to? So slash home. So we don't really have anything like slash home, but we have slash, which is okay, right? So I'm going to copy this, paste it down here. So what else do we have? We have the shop. So this will be slash shop. So I can copy this and paste it in here. Then we have the about. We have the about, And then we go with the, with the contact. So contact, which is okay. And yeah, that's it with all the relevant, links we'll be needing, and which is not bad, right? So let me open this. And meanwhile, in order for us to cover more ground, I'm just going to create those pages, skeletal structure of those pages, which is going to be shop, right? So I can go in here and just create a new folder. I'm going to call this one about. So in the about, we're going to have page.tsx. So I'm going to call this the about page. Right. So and also we're going to have the contact. Create a new folder. Contact. Oh, not index. I meant to write page actually. So this will be the contact page, right? Nice. So whenever we link to this, we just know that, oh, they already exist, or they just have empty content. Okay. So what we're going to have here is that we're just going to loop through our link, links.map, link, some sort of index. So we're going to bring everything here inside. So put the index there, and this will actually be our actual link representation. This is links. Yeah. So it's going to be link, the link, or the title. So we want all of this to route to a separate page. So we're going to use the Next.js link element, link component. Yeah, we should be able to import it somewhere. Not seeing it. It's very weird. Okay. I'm going to bring everything in. I'm going to do href. Oh, it's not importable. It just comes in by default. That's nice. So you can do link, the link right here. Okay, you can see this takes us to the shop page, this takes us to the about page, and this takes us to the contact page. Good. This home takes us to the home page. Alright, so I think that it's very clear. So the other section has to do with all of these icons. We need a way to break them all in, right? So already have them exported. We just want to break them into the navigation, right? So I'm going to go in here. So wherever I have this sign in, I'll take all of these off. Okay. So yeah, I think everything we have here can actually be put here, to be honest. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's bring our icons. So our icons should be able to do something, right? So each of these icons have their own special features. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and define the icons. It's going to be an array of whatever, right? So first we're going to have the icon URL, which is going to be /images/ So the first one we have is the user icon. So go to public images. I hope there's a user icon. Yes, there is right here. So you can do user_icon, the PNG, right? And then you should be able to perform some action. So by default, we're just going to let it run a function. That's when it goes, just going to do console.log. Okay, you just clicked on the user icon, right? So yeah, so this is something you can do, and also I might just like to put it within here, right? And then you can do return. Not really. Okay, so let's try this first and see what happens. Okay, so yeah, this is good. Let's just play with the first icon, and okay, so let's bring it in. Icons, watermark, icon index. So all these are parts of the actual image. You know, have icon, not icon URL. So you can have the click, right, on the action, which is okay. And then we have the alt, it's just the icon. So not icon. So if you want to, you know, segregate with the alt, we could use a custom alt, right? So maybe we can come in here and just do, if you have the time here. Most people don't have the time for this. We can come in and just do icon dot alt, right? So we're going to include the alt in all of these icons. So come here and just do user icon. That way it's easy to basically identify the exact icon. So also we can actually pass index here as our key. Okay, so now let's refresh out. So you can see we have this guy, and when we override, it should be able to, you know, have some, you know, coloring and stuff. Yeah, so not really a coloring. When you override, you'll be able to have the cursor pointer effect. Okay, cursor pointer, nice. Okay, good. So let's see when we click on it. Let's see what we're likely gonna see. I'm gonna move that. Click on this. You just clicked on the user icon. See how good that is? Click on it a couple of times, like 4 times. Good, makes sense, right? So that mix is actually working as expected, and then we can continue with the rest of the flow. Continue with the rest of the flow, and yeah, so yeah, that's the first icon. So let me get to you the other icons that I think are needed. So we have the search, we have the heart, and then we have the cart icon. I'm just going to make a duplicate of all of this. Okay, so this one is the search right there. So it's going to be an actual search icon. Okay, I'm going to rename that search. Okay, let's make this the search icon. Yeah, you just click on the search icon. Alright, that's good. So you're able to have 2 now. Good. So let's click on the search icon. So you can just click on search icon. Alright. Okay, so I'm just going to add the remaining ones, which is the art and then the card. Okay, so we have the art icon and then we have the cut icon, right? Yeah, I think this is it. They are all coming in as expected. Good, good, good. Let's see, make sure that there are no errors anywhere. If there isn't, it's a good thing. Okay, so now we have to worry about the responsive landscape of all of this. right? So first of all, we need the hamburger. So we just use the default hamburger, right? So let's scroll down, and yes, so what I will do here is to just so yeah, we just use the hamburger icon. I don't know how they call it, the loosely react kind of component. Okay, so I think it's just menu. Yeah, menu icon for loosely react. So we add the on-click handler. Just gonna copy that and paste it right here, and then we'll put in all the class. I think those are still very much useful, and then as well to let go. And also for the links, we can do the same thing. We can copy everything we have here. We can copy them here. But the fact, this one is the fact that we change the class to use this. Then we can take it off. That will be our links. So in the other part, how to do with the icons, this will be it. I'm not sure if we'll be needing the action on mobile, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So paste it in there. Sorry about that. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so it's actually appearing so weird, I think, because we didn't look into the setup, right? So what I'm going to do is going to undo all of this. Maybe we need it to be horizontal. No, I think vertical just works. Vertical, and we should give it some width and height. Okay. Full should just be very weird. So let's do 16. Object cover. Okay, let's check the exact height here. Okay, 28, 28, 23, whatever. They're really not consistent, but let's try 28, 28 first. 28 pixel. Height 28 pixel 2. Okay, something like that. Let's move the object cover. Very good. So I'm gonna contain something like that. Object, whatever object feature do we have? Fill, cover, none, scale down, bottom. Content is fine. Okay, so I don't know how useful this will be, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Right. So it is open. The menu should change to BG primary in background color, and not just white, right? It needs to be BG primary. Okay, so yeah, I just added this one to increase the specificity, and as you can see, we have a kind of a background I didn't really agree with. Maybe we could use a different one. Maybe this one, this light color. Okay. Sweet. You can see how good this is coming in as expected. So you can close this out, open it out, close this out. Let's check the desktop version. Good. So this is actually a very good setup. And for the spacing, what we have just looks quite right. We might not really worry about, modifying the spacing and so on, right? Which is wonderful. So now we want to move into the actual array section, right? So what we're going to do is to, obviously just close out all of this. We're going to go to hero, and in this hero section, it's very easy, right? Because first we have a background color, and then we have a background image, and then we have a text overlaying on it, at the middle. So I think I will make this one like 100 view height or somewhere around that range, and set the image that we have in the background. So I'm just going to rename this to section, and in this section we're going to basically have like a BG image or something. So it's in configuration. I will do something here. Yeah, so background image, this one. So we'll give it the name hero, and what we want to target is /images/ so not really, so normally we just do URL /images/ look for anything hero.png. Nice. So we can come in and just do bg, do class name bg hero, right? So when you override, you should be able to see the configurations you just set within the tailwind.config.js. So now let's refresh. Nothing will come up because this hero page, we need to give it a good width, right? And that will be with full TypeScript, right? So the height will be like 100 view height, and then the width will be full. So this is what we have. So it seems to be, let me check the hero image to see if it's really was expected. Oh, it is. So now we need to figure out a way to, the positioning of the background, right? So yeah, so you can do bg cover. Okay, so we object contain, this is your content first. Okay, cover. Okay, object cover. Okay, object cover is not doing anything, which is even weird compared to what I was thinking. Okay, both doesn't do anything. Just add a test something there. Okay, so if this doesn't work, we need to worry about the positioning. Okay, and maybe bg top. This will be the top part. Yes, it is the position. This we check the top, check the bottom. Okay, so yeah, so this basically gives you enough things you want to worry about it. All right, so maybe we can still do bg contain. Okay, boom, you can see that it's coming in as expected, but as you can see, you still need to scroll before you come down, right? You still need to scroll before you get to where you want to be. That's because there's actually an offset between what we have here in the in the actual hamburger and what we have in the actual page, right? So let's see. Okay, it's returning an error with a unique key in navbar component. So let's fix this error. I hate seeing errors like that. So we can go to the navbar component, and what we should be finding at this stage will just be the keys, right? Wherever we are looping. Oh, this does not have a key. Good. So the key is supposed to be the very first element inside of your loop. Right there. So this already have a key. Good for us. Good for us. Good for us. Yeah. So this key. And cut it and take it here. Alright, from there, just refresh. Let's see if the error is still there. Yeah, it's gone now. Very good. So yeah, as I was explaining earlier, the only difference that I want to implement is to get the actual height of this hamburger, right, of this element. Okay. So yeah, so if we have the height of this element at all times, we can subtract it from the height we pass in over to here, right? Yes, so we can have this and just click on it. So the height here is like 73 pixels. 73 pixels. So what we're going to do is very simple. You go to the erase section. You can just do here. You can do calc. So 100 view height minus 73 pixels. Okay, did that work? I didn't know, to be honest. Okay, let's undo it and see if it changed at all. Let's remove the height. Okay, remove the height. It's going to have the background repeating, and we're just going to use no repeat. Page no repeat. So we have one, right? This is it. Okay, very good. So let's go back to what we had before, which is this. Let's not copy it. Page no repeat. Okay, so I think if you do that, then we have to cover it. Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, this did work. This did work, honestly. So the exact height of the navigation is actually 73 pixels. Right, so this is what I put in here. So it's, I do 73. Yes, that should work. It's fine. Alright, so I think that is good for the most part. So if, for example, we do this on the mobile, we're going to have something like this, which looks cool already. Okay, so yeah, let's build out what we have on the right hand part, right? So let's do that. Okay, so now we have a text. It's called new arrival. And then we have this huge title. And then we have this description right here. So we have the description, and then we should be able to have our button. So the text there is buy now. So let's see the structure for our button. So far, this is it, which is not looking bad. But I think our button is always follows a very consistent height. So we're going to change that. So the height here is like 74. 74 in height. So we're going to go over to the main button. And we're going to change the height to 74 pixel. Maybe 70 for small screens. Okay, so if it's normal, you can do 70. If it's large, you can do 74. Okay, so the roundedness is like 0, so it's not rounded by default. So make sure that every button we have doesn't have the rounded attribute. Okay, so yeah, you can see it's coming in as expected. Let's see if this text is actually bold. It's bold. Okay, so I just made it bold. Good. There we go. Yeah, you can play around with the width. The width here is 222. Okay, all right. So we just go ahead and style the different text that we have there. So this one will be our custom dark. Okay. Size is 16. So system message should be like text normal or something. So let's add it to our configuration. Right, so text normal should be fine. Let's change the size of this 52, 40, 40, 40. So what I'm going to do is to just make sure that this one is it's okay. Right. Text header 40 pixel, large 52. Right, so this large is just the same way we're having the header on top. What is going on? Okay, missing it. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, this will be text primary. And what else? Yes, this will be very like large. Text large. And what else? I think that's all, to be honest. Nothing much. Maybe we can do MD here. Text header on mobile. Okay, and also we have the description right here. We can do class name. And okay, I think the first things first is we could do text. Is that description? I think it depends, yeah. It's going to be, I don't know if we should call this normal. I don't know. Yeah, but what we could do is a custom gray. So let's do a custom gray. And what's the size? Size is text 18. 18. Is there another one with 18? It's 20 actually. Okay. Alright. So we could add code it here, no really problem. So that's 18 pixel. And here, this has to be bold too. Yeah, so we could just do font bold. Very good, very good. Okay, so one other cool thing we'll do about this little element or component we have is that we should be able to know the patterns on these sides, right? So top, it just have like different patterns which is inconsistent. We're gonna make it consistent, yeah. So on the side we'll give it 39 pixel. On top and bottom we can give it 62, something like that, right? You can give it 62 for top and 37 for bottom. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to do px 39 pixel. So if it's in a mobile device, we just do px4 please, right? And then so if it's top, bottom, which is py, okay, so pt so at the bottom will be 37 pixel. And one thing I would do, I will try to reduce this in mobile, right? So pt will be the same thing as at the bottom. Okay, that should be good. Okay. We're supposed to be having patterns and not. Oh, okay. Now it's not. It's not there. It's not there basically. So I'm going to grab all of this from here to here and put it here because this is the component we are targeting. Okay, very good. Right. So distance between here and here is 46 pixel. So the roundedness is 10 or true. So we can do rounded 10 pixel. Alright, sweet. There are a couple of things we can do here, right? We don't want it to be full height or whatever. So we have to do inline flex. Inline flex is just doing line block. Here that should give us the inline representation of that, right? And also we need to be able to move this, properly, right? And yeah, from the looks of it, the way we can actually do that, there are a couple of ways. I'm thinking of using the absolute method, right? Whereby we make this an absolute element and we'll, display it the way it's supposed to be. But I think that doesn't make much sense. Yeah, there are other better way to do it. So thinking of one better way. Sorry, put on the error section again. Error section. Taking of taking of a very better way is I'm going to wrap this in the parent container. So I'm going to wrap it here. And I'm just going to do flex justify end. Okay, which is not bad. And align items. Let's align baseline. Okay, no, not really. Items baseline. Okay, this will not work. This will only work if I think you have like a flex column. Okay, so it's baseline. So we have to make sure it's towards the end, right? And maybe column reverse. Okay, hold on, please. Colon and this will be baseline. Let's play around with. Okay, hold it there. Start. Center. Okay, so this looks small to be at the center, which makes sense. All we have to do now is to make sure that we push it to the far right. Right. So yeah. Okay, so now we already have it is justified center. We need the items to be not in the baseline anymore. Let's move this. Let's check the behavior from this one first. Good. Items. And let's check that out. Good. Okay. So the other thing I would do here is to give a proper gap between here and here, which is 58 pixels. Okay, so we can just do. I don't think there's any need for this guy, to be honest. Can remove that div. I have to see less divs as much as possible. Then we can do margin right 56 pixels. Okay. Okay. So now this is looking very good and sweet. So what I want to do now is to check out for the mobile view. Okay. So this mobile view is not bad. But I think when it's on mobile here, we can add something else. Right, so we can do MX maybe 4. Okay, so here M right can be 0. M left, sorry, can be 0, so that there's nothing on the left part. Boom, you can see how cool this is already. How responsive is this? So this is what we have now. And you can click on here. Good. Then we can go out on desktop view like this. Okay, so I think with this we've been able to round off the the arrow section, which make much sense. And then the next thing is we'll start building out the browse the range section. All right, and welcome back. So now, before I move on to the browse the range section, I want to quickly fix something here. You can see that discover our new collection is broken down into a separate line. Yeah, I think I should do that as well. It shouldn't be in one line. We could just break it down. All right. So let's see how we can achieve that. Okay, so let's just apply break here. That should be able to do that for us, which is not bad. And also in this youth or whatever that is, so this should just be a separate line altogether. Okay, so here we'll do leading tight. Okay, very good. Okay, yeah, the leading seems too much. Let's do 40 pixel, 10 pixel, 0 pixel. The leading is not changing. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Alright, as noted. I'm just going to change this one to leading tight. Let's see. Yeah, that should be it. Good. On mobile we have that. Good. Yeah, so what I could do here a bit is that on mobile I can just do py4, py0 on desktop. Yeah, maybe py2 on desktop view. Good. Okay, very good. So now we move on to the browser range part. Okay, so to do this, we're going to open up the section made specifically for it. And we're just going to change this one to section. And in this section, we need to display something that looks like this, right? Okay, and so let's grab the header. Okay, and the other one has to do with the description. Yeah, so that would be the header for us. And let's start. So class name. So this one is actually 32 pixel and it's bold. Right, and we already know that this is pop-ins, right, which makes sense. Right, so this one on the other end has to do with the custom grid that we've already defined. Text, is it normal or medium? This is 10. Okay, we have 40, we don't really have 20, so yeah, it's fine. Or we can add it, not a huge deal. So this will be test 20. Okay, and custom gray. So we apply the text center attribute to both of them. Okay, and also specify the distance between here, 56. Okay, so yeah, distance between every of the components like 56 pixel. So let's add that to the page.csx. So we'll take everything in here and we'll put it here. Flex Chrome. So the gap here is actually, I saw 56, but let's try again. It's actually 56. So that's 56. Good, good, good. Okay. Okay. So now let's build out all of these components. Right. So what we do here is going to be quite simple. Because we have to do the needful, right? So what we're going to do is to just, everything is basically like the same. So I don't think there's actually any point of creating a card specifically for this. We could just do everything within this page. I'm going to create a div for it. So this div, we have like an image and a text. Good. Okay, so before there, yeah, let's add the list of whatever that we'll be needing. Okay, so the list can be like this. We have an image URL. This one will be /images/ this one is actually bit_1 .png, and then the title we have there is just is dining. And we have bit_2. What we have there is living. And finally we have bit_3. This is the bedroom. Okay. All right. All right. So we can put everything here within there, and we have to group it. So put everything within the parent div. So pass the indexing as a key. So we have the item, the image URL. Okay. So call that the category image, and let's see what we have here. Okay, there we go. I think it's like all of them coming in as expected. So now the thing is, we need the height for all of this image. So the height here is like 480. So 480 pixel in height. And what we can do is to group it or to make it a grid. So it depends, right? So here is a grid columns 1, grid columns 3. So this will allow you to have the same height, right? So there we need a little gap here, which is 20 pixel. So now that we have that, let's see, we need some rounded things. So I say it's mixed. I just want to see the roundedness. I think it's 10 to be honest. Let me undo all these changes. Okay, so I think you can just put that within the images, because the image is what you're setting to round, right? Yeah, there we go. And let's see this for mobile. It's all stacked. Okay, you can see the images are looking squashed. So this is the kind of behavior we do not need. So what we'll do in this case is to do object cover. Boom, that just does the magic. You can see how better they now look, right? So you can see if you when you're shrinking it, it still has like the original dimension and everything still looks so good, right? Very good. Okay, so the other thing I think we are missing here is the title. So this is actually semi-bold 24. Okay, we have the image. Okay, that will be our custom black. Okay. So 24% seems too large. Maybe I want to reduce that a bit. So let's do cell 10 first. Like 10. Yeah, something like that seems decent. Okay, so the distance between here and what we have here is 30. Right, so I can come in here and just do empty 30 pixel. Okay, so it has to be at the middle. Let's see if filling text center works. I think it should work, but I don't know, but let's see. Okay, good. All right. So one other thing we'll figure out is the distance between here and here, which is 62. Do 30 pixel, medium, we do 62 pixel. Okay. Okay, so whenever we give it the general spacing, that should fix the spacing on the left and the right margins. Right, yeah, so with that, we've come to the end of the browser range section, which is a very quick one. So we want to move on to our product section, right? So what we're going to do, we're just going to mimic what we already have in terms of the title, right? So we have the title there, and then we do the same thing. Okay, so let's repeat everything we have here. Let's repeat it within our product section. So I'm just going to put that here and call this so I'll call this our product section. this will be our product. It doesn't have any description whatsoever. And the spacing too seems more relaxed, 32. Very good. So one other thing we'll do is to obviously design, this is going to be a dedicated card because there are lots of things going on here. So we're going to create a product card that, that behave in a very good, manner, right? So that's what we'll be building right now. And for us to be able to do that, okay, so let's first of all define the things I think we'll be needing for every card. So we need these, we need the type of card, the type can actually be new or discounted. We need a title. So yeah, so this is going to be p_1, and the title here is, I don't know what that is, right? And description is going to be this one, and then copy that, and then we have the price. So we have the other price, or you can call it discounted price, or the non-discounted price, depending on the context. Okay, and then we need the actual type. So the type can actually be if it's a new product or if it's discounted. So this one is discounted because it's red. And discount. This is going to be the type value. It's going to be 30%. Okay, so we're going to replicate something similar in the other ones, right? So this will be P2, and the name of this one is Leviosa Stylish Cafe Chair 225. Okay, that's good. The same thing, right? So but this one is still, oh, you didn't show if it's discounted or not. Okay, so we assume it has the same properties. Let's go over to the third one. So this will be P3. So its current value here is 50%. And let's check the title. Title here is Lolito. And the description is luxury big sofa. The price here is like 7,000 and is discounted from 14,000. So 14,000, and let's go back to the third one. So I'm just going to grab all of this, paste it in here. So this will be P4, right? So the name here is Respira, and description is actually outdoor bar table and stew, right? And this is just 500. It's very cheap, I think. So maybe it's coming in from 700. This is not discounted, so other price might not really, be important. So that price might just be empty. Type is new. So type value new. Okay. So yeah, the same thing we apply for this one, but we'll just give it a different name. So this one is not new, it's not discounted, it's just there. All right. So no problem, we can still worry about it. Yeah, so this P5. So the name is actually Grifo. And then the description is night lamp. So we have a night lamp. And the price is actually 1.5. And there's no other price, it is just normal. So now we have like three statuses. We have a new, we have the discounted, and then we have normal. So normal does not have like other price, same also with the new. So the type value is actually empty, not a thing, because it doesn't have type either. Okay, so let's make a copy of this for the third one. So this will be for P6. So this is P6, and it's new, another price. The name is Mogo, and it's just a small mug. And the price is actually 150,000. Okay, and good. So let's just want to do for the last one, which will be P8. So what we'll have here is 40, and the description is minimalist flower pot, and the price we just have is just 500, right? So it doesn't have other price. Good. So we have other discounted one, and we're going to copy this one and paste it in here. So this one will be P7, and the name there is actually Pinky. I don't know what that is. It's so weird. All right. So we have a cute bed set. Okay, so the price there is going to be 7,000 and discount. Oh, very good. The same pricing. Nice. So I think with that we've been able to, have all the products we'll be needing. So all we need to do is to now worry about the critical area, which is building out the actual card, right? So I'm going to open this up. Under the components, I'm going to create a new folder, and this will be cards. So this will be cards, and in these cards, just create a new one. This is going to be the product card. Okay, so we need a couple of props. Right, and this props is always self-generated. So when you override our data, this is everything we need. So I can copy them all and take them to here. So this is exactly what we'll now, what we'll extend, so that we can be able to use it within the actual card. Image URL, title, description, price, other price, type value. Alright, good. Okay, so now we are presented with the card. There are a couple of things we have here. Right, well, we have the image, we have this other section. Right, so it's easy to do. This will be the image section. This will be the other section. Alright, so let's do the other section first because that contains most of the stuff there. So this one has to do with the title, and after that we have the description. Okay, and then we have price. So we have the price, and also we have the other price, right? So yeah, so the price, the other price, and yeah, so let's tie this. Let's tie it and see what it look like. So the class name here is actually custom black. Let's see how large it is. So this is 24. I think text 24 is we don't even have it. Let's create it if we don't have it. Okay, so that's text 24. It's bold here, semi-bold. Okay, let's grab this one. So custom gray, and is it bold? It's medium. Medium. Text number. Let's justify between item center. This is our price, we just strike it. Or they call it, is this strike or stroke? Text. I haven't done that before with Tailwind. I don't know how we could do that, but let's see the other possibilities. Just underline here. Oh, we don't have it. We just have normal underline. Okay. Strike or stroke. So yeah, so we have like an underline. What they call this middle one, they do. Underline a text. Let's do a quick Google search for that. Underline a text at the middle with Tailwind. Okay, I think this is line through. Line through, yeah. This is what I was looking for. Nice. So just use line through properties. Okay, sweet. So yeah, it's very similar with what we have on top. The only difference is we might just like reduce the size if need be. Yeah, size is just 20. Okay. Okay, so the spacing 8 pixels. So PY 8 pixels. And yeah, that should be good. So line through custom gray. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. Okay, so here we need to just put the image. Specify the auth here. The auth here is the product. Alright, so the source is going to be the image URL. And we have to tie this one to an height. The height here is 301. Okay, so the type has to do with the what to display here, right? So let's do that. So here we'll make it a relative event. So we can actually have some absolute within here. Right, so this is actually very optional if there's a type. So if there's type value or whatever, that's when you display. So that's when you will display this. Right, so what we'll have basically have here is the type value. And so we'll bring in the CN from the utilities. And then we can concatenate a bunch of classes here. So the first thing we do is we are going to make some checks, right? So okay, before that, then we basically have like a class, like 48. So with 48, you say, well, can we not do with 48? No, that's not as expected. Okay, I just need 48 pixel. So 48 pixel. 48 pixel. And then the height is 48 pixel as well. And then rounded full. Okay. And the BG will actually be dependent on whatever we do. Right. So if there is if the type is equal to discounted, so BG error. Okay, so the type is equal to not discounted now but new. BG sources. Else we're not going to give it, we won't give you any background, right? So yeah, I think that will work. And then the text within here is just is white and medium, so it's text normal. Text normal, font medium, very good. PX2. Okay, so I think we're almost there, right? So this other price is really optional, right? So each of these, so if there's a price, there's always a price, but this other price is optional. So when there's other price, show the other price. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do is to go back to our product section and create a loop around all of this. Right, so on every row we have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. Right, this one will be for extra large devices. So medium can actually have like 2. Okay, so grid columns 2. With the extra large, we want to show the entire 4. And then, yeah, something like that. So what we're going to have, instead of this, we're going to have the product card. And we're just going to spread all the properties by using this. And then we'll pass it the index E as the key. And then we'll close it out. Alright, so let's see what we should be having. Okay, nice. Okay, not bad at all, still requires lots of work. Yeah, so what we're going to do with the images, it has to be full. With full, should make it full. And also object cover. So the cover, I should be able to cover it appropriately. And also, I don't know why we have the same image in P1 and P2. That's very weird. Yeah, P1 and P2 are having the same images. Good. Oh, that is it. That's so weird. So what we needed to do is P2 image is actually very much different. I thought we already exported it. Okay, this is P. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's correct. So P underscore 1 is this one. P underscore 2 is still that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so what I will do, it's easy. When I select that, export, I just do this one. Let's bring our plugin in. So plugin, export original image. Export that. Okay, so we click on export. No image is found. Oh, I see. Okay, we're on the overlay, which is weird. See, I can take this one here. Good. It's even separated. There is on group. Okay, the overlay needs to go fill, maybe take that off. Okay, then export. And there we go. Alright, so I'm just going to, so let's delete all of this. We already have them all. P underscore 2. So this P2 we can just delete it. Okay, that's P2. Okay, so we can undo all of this so it won't scatter the design. Very good. You can close this out. Refresh it. Very good, very good. And then we can choose like the positioning of it and so on, but not really a priority right now. So let's fix things that appear broken. All right. Okay, so that's it. So we're just going to checking a couple of things here. So the first one has to do with the box, and that box is within the product card. Okay, it's already in the product card. Okay, so there we go again. So we're just going to, change the text color, I think, to what we want. So the text there should be white. The text is white. So text normal. That's the text white. Okay. So medium 16, so it's text normal now. There's the line middle. Flex, by center, center. The same thing apply for the new one. So I'm just going to put it here. So it applies for everything. So as I said before, this is going to be absolute stuff because we already have a relative parent. So what we can do is absolute top 4 and maybe let's do right 4 for now. Alright, that should be able to position it around there, which I think looks very good. Right, if we want to, this is 24. Right, I think the same thing from the top as well. Alright, so let's do that. 24 pixel. Right, 24 pixel. Okay, so very good. So the other thing we need to worry about is this, the down section. In the design, there's actually some sort of, background going on there. So I'm just going to work on that. So yeah, we have it, and then which is good, to be honest. And we just need to set our patterns right, which is 16. We can just do P4. Right, very sweet, right? So I think with this, you see exactly how our product is coming in very clean. So we want to test the responsive state of these cards, right? So you can see if it's medium, instead of having all 4 squares together, we only have like, we only have like 2. So let's say in an industrialized device, starting from here, we have all 4. But medium, we have like 2, right? As we go deep down into the mobile scape, we basically have like, 1. This is a very cool responsive layout, and yeah, we could easily just achieve this just using Tailwind, which is fantastic. All right, so we've been able to work on the on this part. You can see we're able to have it correctly. You can see we don't have everything is just coming in as expected, right? There are some that don't really have anything, just like this one. You can see here it doesn't have anything, right? So one other thing that we need to implement on every card, right, would be the ability to be able, when you override a card, it should be able to, show this overlay on top. Show this overlay on top. and then we have all of this add to cart button. So we're going to be able to achieve this using Tailwind. It's going to be very smooth, right? So yeah, so we're going to work on this in this very next section. Okay, so I think before that, actually, we do have like a button here. So let's quickly add this before we move on to that implementation, right? So I'm just going to go here, come here, and that's show more button. Come in here, div in button. So then there's a show more, show cap m. So we'll be having some classes. Oh, not here, sorry. We're not supposed to use this here. Outside. Here, that means our product section. So you have to import it. So you can just do a flex, justify center. And the top can just be 4 for now. Okay, so the distance between here and here is 32. Okay, so I'm going to do 32 pixel. Right, and the BG here is just transparent. Text primary, font board. Okay, do we have some border? Yeah, we do. So this border and border primary, border. Okay, so I noticed that all the buttons we have here does not have like shadow representation of them. So if that's the case, we need to remove shadow from the actual main button to prevent any form of confusion. So this shadow, so I'll just take that off. Searching it for shadow. We don't have any shadow now. Okay, so that is good. I feel the height is too much. So the height is 48. So I'm going to modify the height of that by specifying 48. So I'm just going to come here and do height. Height 48 pixel. Very good. So when you over, I don't want that kind of behavior. So we can do over, BG is still transparent. Alright. Very good. Very good. Alright, so right now we're going to move into building the actual over. Alright, so let's get started. So now this section is all about understanding how well we want to basically animate each of the product card. And as always, there's actually a boilerplate I used to demo all the time about how you can interact with Figma motion. And interaction is always very simple, right? So the first thing you do is to install the package. So to install the package, all you need to do is you can just, let me duplicate the instance of this terminal. Right, there we go. I'm just going to do page design. Okay, npm install Figma motion. So it's going to install Figma motion for us now. Right, so give it time to install. And while the installation is still going on, I'm just going to use that opportunity to explain to you how you can set it up. Anything that has to do with motion on the client is highly interactive, so you might want to mark that that component as a client component, right? And you can do that by using the use client command. And after that, you can actually just import. I think it's already installed. Oh, I just copied a bunch of different things. So sorry about that. So I just click. Just to be sure, you can just do npm install Figma motion like that. Yeah, that should fix it for you. Yeah, so once you have that, what you're going to do is already installed. Good, good, good. Other thing you might want to do is to import it this way. So I'm just going to do this, copy this too. Using this that I need. I'm going to take it to at the top of my project card. Okay, it has to be on top from Figma Motion, which is already installed. Okay, so now we already know, just in case you are tuning in for the first time, the way Figma Motion works is that you can actually tag every HTML available, attribute or tag, as the case may be. You can tag it, you can wrap it around a motion object by doing motion dot then the HTML tag name. It can be a p tag, it can be h1, h2, h3, a div, and so on. So if you are doing for div, it's going to be motion.div, right? So when you do that, you have access to lots and lots of the properties that comes with Figma Motion. An example of these properties include initial, Y in view, transition, viewport, and so on, just like the way you see them in this example. So what we want to do in our own kind of specification is a little bit different. So now, as you can see, I have a card here. So this card, just going to zoom in here, can be seen like this. So this is our card. This is the product card. So I'm going to come here into product card. So I'll make this a little bit smaller, so it's not too large, or medium. Yeah, that's good. Right. This is wonderful. But the thing with this is we want to be able to animate this card so that whenever we have the overlay, which is this, so we'll tag this one as the overlay. So let's give it a color of, say, let's just mark it as red. Okay, so this would be our overlay to this initial product card. So the thing you might want to ask yourself at this stage is, how do we make sure that we bring in this card in a very smooth manner? So in Motion, Figma Motion, there's actually a on over start, right, attribute, right, and also we have the on over end, something related, something common. So this will only trigger when we basically have, when you override the first time, right? So this will trigger when you say you just override the very first time, and this will be triggered, right? And what I'm trying to do now is, yes, on over. I think it's it's self-explanatory if you look at it properly, right? So you can override it, and so what I want to do here is we just want to do an overend, right? So this one triggers so this one will trigger on overend specifically. So this is only related to when it starts, right? So when it starts, it triggers this, right? So when it ends, it triggers this. So we're going to use this to control what we want to display. So I would want to reduce the opacity of this in a way. So on over, I'm going to drop the opacity. So this is what I want to try to achieve. Then allow the background, call it the overlay, to have some screen effect, and should right hand side. You can say this is actually very complex when you think about it. It's not something you can, readily just animate using the mass CSS and all. But it's possible, but the Figma motion makes it very easy for you to be able to achieve this with less of an hassle. So what I want to achieve is something like this, right? So when I hover over this is going to come in from the left, and it's just going to go like this, right? It's going to come in from the left like this. It's going to stay on top, right? So we could change the position if we want, right? So it's going to stay on top, and then the opacity of this guy is going to be reduced. So ideally, we're going to have something that's going to mark all of this, again to the right. So after animation, so just going to do this after animation. So this one, we're going to like reduce the opacity. So let's check the color. Okay, we don't really have like, opacity remover here, but let's see if we could have a faint one. Yeah, something like this. Something like that. Very good. Very cool. So now we have a slightly reduced opacity with the content here having the reduced opacity. And then we can easily just move this guy on top from the left, right? You're going to be from, from the whatever. So this will always come from the left and just see on top. So we can actually like modify the positioning of what we want to achieve here in a way if we want, right? And that's something I always say, like, okay, if we want it that way, we have to set some sort of props to achieve it. So enough of the talking, let's go more into the actual implementation. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go back to what we already have. I'm just going to go here. Very good. I'm going to, so we're still in the desktop view, it's fine. Okay, so these are our cards, right? And what we want to do is to try to create this card, right? So this card, as you can see, is already available here. So yeah, this is it. So maybe I can close out a couple of things. Yeah, it's Figma is always okay. Yeah, something like that should work. Okay, so now you can see what we have. This is what we have. We have to design it first so that we can be able to animate, right? So we designed something like that. What we're going to do is to just open up the product card, right? So we open this out and try to minimize this a bit so that we can all see other screens. All right, very good. So yeah, so we're going to come in here, and this is the product card, by the way. So we're going to come in here, and obviously let's do something like, let's set the overall parent to relative, which is fine. And we're going to create a new div. So yeah, the overlay will start here. So I can come in here and just do, right, let's do, so overlay will start at this particular div. So then what do we have? It's like, it's going to be absolutely positioned. So it's going to be absolute. In order for you to have an absolute item to spread around the entire width and height of the parent, what you normally do is just this, right? You do left 0, right 0, top 0, and bottom 0. So with that, you don't have to worry about how it looks like or anything. So it just comes up naturally. All right, so there we go. So we're going to click on this now to get the color. So it's returning this one. So that would be the basic color. Right. And so let's see what we have. So you can see the absolute element is covering what we already have, right? Very good. So now what we want to achieve though is to place something on top of it, right? So it needs to be very transparent. Opacity can just be Okay. Okay, so not sure they changed anything. Maybe got 40. Okay, very good. So this is something I was expecting. So we want to reduce the opacity of that thing so that we can see a bit of the background, right? So yeah, so we can do 90. Okay, we can do 80. So 80 is pretty decent, right? This is not bad. So you can see we can still, it's still shallow, but we can see through it. All right, so that's fine. And so what we want to do at this stage is to bring in the content, right? So first of all, we have the buttons. So we're going to have like two divs. So this is going to be 1, and this one is going to be 2, right? So so the first one, we're going to bring in the main button. So we're going to name this add to cart. So BG here is actually white, and text is primary. So the text is going to be primary, and I think fonts should be bold. Okay. Alright, sweet. The background though is white, so that's fine. Okay, so the other one has to do with having whatever. Yeah, so I'll just define icons. It's going to be an array of object. I have to spell this correctly. Icons, right? So it needs to be like an array of an actual object. So it's going to basically have the icon URL. Going to be slash images, then slash share icon png, and then we have the title. Title there is share. It's cool, right? So the other one has to be, instead of being share, right? So this one has to do with I think filter icon. I need to be sure about all of this. Let me go to images. Okay, so we have the filter icon, and lastly we should have the at or like icon. I think we named it like, so it's fine. Yeah, so all these things are going to have their own respective action. So I'm just going to do action. Yeah, anything you want to do later on, you can easily just specify it there, right? And so lastly, we have the like icon, right? So that like, it has the like text. Very good. So what we'll do, we can just copy this entire thing. Can grab the icons, icon map, icon index. Okay, so we pass in the index as a key. Alright, and yeah, that's just it. We basically have the image, And then we have the text. So icon.title. So we spread it by using a justified between to spread it across the whatever. So here the distance between here is just 24. Now we can do, okay, so monitor 24 pixel. So one other thing is all these texts, we have to make sure they have type center. So text white. Oh, not really the filter icon, maybe the compare icon. Okay, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, maybe we can give it a little bit of gap. It's looking all squashed together. Okay, or one as the case may be. So gap one should just be fine. Okay, very good. I think it's looking good as expected. So what we're going to do is to make sure that we are able to bring everything here into the right order, right? So what we can do is to wrap everything here in a div of its own. So you can use flex here, justify center, flex column by the way, item center. Okay, so we have the item center. Okay, so the thing is, you could achieve similar thing by using setting the top percentage. I want to grab the entire thing. Right, so let's see. Yeah, so the that does not work well because, as you know, this doesn't really have a definitive height. It's taking the semblance of the height of the parent, right? So it doesn't have that kind of ability. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do over BG white, so we don't have that weird effect. So no worries, we're going to obviously just talk about this. So let me do padding top. Use 30%. Right, padding top 30%. This can only be a flex and justify center too. Right. So this 30% is good because these two can actually contribute to that. So let's look for a way to add a padding to P4. Right. So P4, and yeah, there we go. You can see it basically is coming in as expected. Well, let's check it on mobile to make sure we are still on the same track. Very good. So it still looks way perfect. Way perfect. So this is what we'll be getting after we over this card, right? So our main goal is to be able to simulate that kind of behavior using Figma motion, right? So we're going to dig in. We already have all the props that are available to us. Here are the props. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab the initial container, right? So this initial container, ever listed. So then this and this should actually be in one div. So it's easy to separate. Okay, so basically just have two divs. Yeah, so basically have two divs, and they are the first one. So you can come here and do actual card. Okay, so this is the product card. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually use motion here. So motion.div, and also we'll be using motion.div here as well, but we'll be animating both. Okay, so we already know that this is the initial state of this and so on. So there's actually a very cool property called y over. On the y over, we are going to run a function, right, to know if why it's still over. Run this function. Okay, so you can see we have a lot of them. We have white tap. Okay. All right, so let's do on over start thing. Very good. So on over start and on over end. So we can move this one. On over starts, on over end. So this one takes in a function, right, as you can see. So now what it's going to do, you can pass in like any function to it. You can see the default one is over start. It's going to run a console with over start and so on. So we're going to run this with handle over start. Handle over end. So yeah, these are the two functions we'll be running. So we can actually use a state to manage this. Like just stating a state here. Over. So the default value will be false. So over start set over to true, over end, very simple, is set over to false. Right. So yeah, this is the way you can basically control this. And whatever we want to be displaying in terms of the actual value and all, right? So we want the opacity of this to actually change, right? So okay, so the thing is, when we hover over the card, as I explained before, we want to do two things. Yeah, first of all, we want to reduce the opacity of the product card. How do we do that, right? So when it's hovered, we want to reduce the opacity of this card. So now there is actually a kind of a transition you can specify, right? So you can just use this, come in here and provide a transition. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it there. So the transition, the duration is going to be maybe 200 milliseconds, which is 0.2 seconds. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that the opacity, right, the opacity is changing, right? So the opacity has to be a little bit different, right? So the opacity has to be 0.8 on this card, right? So now the thing is, we only want this to happen when the over state has changed. So you can take this from the over state and just do an over, do that. Else keep it at 1, something like that. Okay, so let's try this out and see. Okay. It actually changed. We're not seeing much because of the structure we currently have, right? So yeah, so what I want to do is to let's keep this commented to prevent distraction. So on over, we want to reduce the opacity, right? So yeah, so we're missing a couple of things. We don't have the initial, so I'm going to specify the initial as well as the viewport, so I can render multiple times. So opacity here is actually 1. Yeah, so let's go. Let me refresh this. It's not coming up. Is it refreshing? Let me refresh that again. Okay, so we want to reduce the actual opacity of the card itself. It's not working. Let's investigate. Oh, no. I think it's not here. This will only happen at the final stage. So, we already have some settings configuration here, right? So, so yeah, so this one's supposed to be on the, I think the Y over clause. Let's see. So let's see what Y over normally just takes in. Takes in a couple of things. Opacity. Let's play around with that. Okay, you can see it's changing. Okay, because we're on the white background, I can't really see it much, so I'm just going to reduce this terribly down. You can see the opacity has dropped. Right, so when you override, we have the opacity to drop, which is very fine. So now we need it not to drop too much, right? Shouldn't drop too much. Okay, so we could just do 0.5 for now. Something like that, yeah. Something like that looks very cool. Okay, so that is good. And one other thing we want to do is to make sure that we show this overlay, right? So if it's over, we want the overlay to show. And let's comment this. And I'm just going to do this. Okay, so alright, interesting. Right, so if you do this, let's rephrase this. It's kind of a weird behavior. Okay. Now that is even weird compared to what I thought. So maybe we'll use a different state to, y over shouldn't change the opacity much. This is what we are getting. So while you're overing, the opacity is actually just changing, right? And yeah, it's not supposed to be an issue, right? So when you over start, we want to set a different state. Let's do this without this one. Yeah, let's try this out. Okay, very good. This works, right? So we're going to undo it, keep it the way it is. Instead of over, we're going to do show. So we can call this show overlay. Okay, so it's going to be a very simple function. State, sorry, not a function. Show overlay. Set show overlay. right? So we don't want a situation whereby this will keep changing like all the time, right? So on overstart, you just want to set this overlay to true, right? So if it still has the same view, there's a way. I feel like the state is just like, the rendering and all. So you might not be able to have all of those, right? So yes, set over there, and obviously if you come in here, we set show overlay to false. So when you step out, it's just going to go. Okay, so let's refresh it. Okay, so you can see, I feel this actually is a condition of having a state to render. Oh shoot! So the key card is not having a list. Oh, I see. First of all, it's a big bug, and that big bug is obviously coming from here somewhere. So let's look for wherever we are using a list, which I don't know, in the product card. Oh yeah, the icons should have a... Oh, the key is in the wrong part. So yeah, I think this is actually why we have that kind of behavior. So let's refresh this. Okay, on the mobile. Okay, we still have it here. So we're going to investigate why this is so. So what I do think is chances are the states are always like changing. Okay, so let's do this. This over. So oh, I see. It's crazy. So when you override it, it keeps calling over and over again, which doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, it's a very crazy state. So it's so what we'll do, what I normally advise situations like this, is that you check, right? So if show overlay, so if show value is already true, right? So set it to true. So if not show value, set it to true, right? If show value, then set it to false. I think this will be able to bypass it, but that's just you're specifying some conditions to control it. But let's check it out. Overstay calls multiple times. Okay, over. Oh, it runs that function multiple times. Now that is interesting. I need to figure out a way to, to be able to, get this in a very concise manner. Okay. Yeah, we're doing the right thing, but this function gets called whenever the overing status is true. Alright, so let's do show value. So yeah, over, we have false. Oh, false means always set it, right? That means we needed something like this here. Let's say. Okay. So let's just do true here first. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so I don't think it's really a problem because now think about it. Overlays by default is not really an object you have to mess with, right? So thinking about it is because I think we already have the overlay as an absolute element. It's just for us to be able to like show and hide, yeah, and everything should be all right, right? So yeah, we're going to have like hidden MD block, right? So yeah, so let's see how we're going to achieve that. So you can do cn and let's try to close this out. So yeah, so let's do cn and close it out here. So what we want to do here is, okay, we can add a command there, right? So whenever we have this over state as true, then we'll display. If we don't have it, we forget about it. All right, so let's check that out. So we have the over. So if over states we want to do block s hidden okay, let's go. We still have the same freaking issue because the over is keep rendering over and over again. So let's do it like this. So if not over, set over to true. Right, so we'll do the opposite here. If over, I hope this works. Yeah, I did something similar before, but let's see. So if over, set over to false. It doesn't work. Let's refresh that. Okay, so I think I don't really care much about this over start. Not like that. We can use it to control the over state. So this is what I think. Well, I hope this works. Is that this handle over end, we can use this specifically to control the whether to display the over state or not. Right. So here, this one should just change. Yeah. So on over ending is no longer overing. Right. So on over end, let's see what happens here actually. Oh, on over end. So it's calling multiple times. So I'll just check around and get back to you guys. Okay, so welcome back. So now I just looked around and I saw that the on over start and on over end doesn't really work well. It's good for us to just use variants to achieve this. And the way the variant will work is we already have the parent element. You have to put the child variant within the parent variant so that you are exposed to all the object, all the fields available within the variant object, right? So like initial is a field here, animate is a field here, right? So initial will actually work when it's at its initial state, right? So but when you are animating, it's going to use whatever you have in animate, right? So I think that that makes sense. So whenever I override this now, you see that it's coming in as expected. Now, if you remember, one thing we discussed about, how good our setup would be that we want a situation whereby we reduce the opacity of the product card, which is what we're already doing, and then we want to allow the overlay to spring, and then to use some sort of spring effect, I should come from the right hand side, right? So yeah, how do we do that, right? So we're going to go to Figma motion examples, right? So this is just a default Figma motion kind of animation. Then you should be able to see something like use spring right here. It's a kind of looks more like an oak, but it's very easy. So I'm going to show you an example. I hope this will load up kind of quickly. Right, so it's very easy for you to achieve that, and we're going to achieve it in different order. All right, so it's still loading. We'll just wait for it to load so we can demonstrate how this would be. Okay. All right, so while it's still loading, let's go back to here. And what we want to do is to make sure that we are coming from y of like 300 or something. So let's test it out. So yeah, so y here, whenever it's done animating, it's going to do y or x. This actually is the x axis. X is going to be 0. So let's do x 50 here. Let's see. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. That's weird. Let's do minus 50. Opacity and then x. Let's refresh that. Okay, so that's x, and minus 50 is from this side, so we obviously need it to be 50. Okay, so you can see it's coming from the right hand side. So let's improve this a bit, maybe 120. Okay, so you can see it's coming from the left side. Okay, so that is really cool, right? And yeah, we can as well control the kind of behavior in terms of the things we want to display, right? So I think this is really cool. I don't know what you guys think about it. We may actually this is actually a spring. So let's just I think when you refresh it. So this is actually springy, right? So we're not really using any drag and drop effect here. So I don't think this might actually make much sense, right? So it's actually very noticeable, useful when you're using the drag effect, right? So we might not really use it that much. So let's go to overview. Some of the one I wanted to display out. Okay. All right, we'll just allow it to load. Let's see if we can modify a couple of all of this a bit. Okay, maybe the opacity, well, maybe the scale. 0.5. Let's do animating, just scale to 1. Okay, so this is actually it having like a scaling effect coming from the right, and it's actually scaling as well, right? So maybe we might want to make it a little bit slower. Let's do 0.4. All right, so that looks very clean. All right, so this is very cool in my opinion. So we can play around with this, right? So yeah, so we basically did a couple of things here, right? So what we're doing is we're checking out the actual implementation of it, and then we're just setting our variant so you can see an initial state is going to be coming from the right on the x-axis, and the scale is going to be 0.5, right? When we animate, it's going to improve the opacity to 1 and set the x to the initial state. By the initial state, that means the original state, not the initial, but the original state, and then scale to 1, which is the original scaling, right? Yeah, I think that's it. With that, we can actually conclude on this part, right? So we can move more into the other section, which has to do with the setup furniture. All right, so let's build this out, and Yeah, most of the time it's very straightforward. And where we go about this is to actually, you know, first of all, just grab the title. Yeah, so we're going to use the same component as we use in browse the range, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to close out a couple of all of this, right? Close this out. So browse the range. I'm going to copy this and take it to share setup. Share setup section, right? And we might not really be needing all of this data. It's not needed. So you can let go of all of this. And this one will be our title. Alright, so this will be our title, and also at the same time, this one will be our description. Okay, very good. And do we have anything pushing our components to the right? That's weird. We don't want that. Okay, so let's see why that is happening. Oh, this could be because of the scaling, is it? I doubt. Oh yeah, that should even be a problem. So let's see the component it's coming from. Then we'll go to page, then we'll comment out. Okay, let's remove this one. Don't think it's used anywhere. So let's our products. Let's comment out product. Oh, it's definitely our product. All right, let's check it out. Let's do with full. Okay, maybe we can just switch this to responsive mode and check what is going on. I see the image is going out of control. So inline flex. I don't know where that is, and that's very weird thing. So let's debug it a bit. Oh, likely this one. Maybe because of this. Now that is okay. Let's refresh this. No, not really. I think it's because of the cards and not the ceiling. Now let's check out the product card. Okay, this is a motion diff. Okay, maybe we don't need this here anymore. Right, maybe we just need it here, I think. But that really does not do much. I'm gonna remove that div. motion.div. Yeah, that should work. Save that. Right, let's refresh this. Okay, we still have this little annoying overscroll, but not really a big deal. We could just take it off by making sure that there's no overflow in the actual page, which is the our product section. So I'll just do overflow x eating. Let's check that out. Yeah, that should fix it. Yeah. Okay, so that was nice. So let's build out the other part. That means this furniture part. So I assume we just need an image. So thing is going to be outside of the scope. To be honest, this and this. Right, so it's outside the scope. And so what I will just do here, I think, is to bring the image in, define our alt. So this share setup, and I'm just going to do slash images slash share setup. PNG. Full width, we don't need all of this something. Okay, very good. All right. And I think that is it. That should be responsive for the most part. Only for smaller screen. Should be able to have like very good corresponding value for it. And we're just going to add some, margins to it. This one will basically have so yeah, that would be the margin top. I will just put this one in there. Alright, so finally we are almost at the rounding point. So what we want to do here is to put in the separators and have our footer ready. Right. So yeah, so the way we go about is we need a Shadcn separator component, okay, which is this. So we just need to install this. So you can click on here, npm. Just paste that in there. So it's going to install the separator for us, and yeah, we should be good to go. Right. So let's take this here. Let's look for the things that we might be needing for the footer. Okay, here, let's close this out. Okay, so we'll name this to section, and yeah, so what we just need is the links. Okay, yeah, so we'll basically have like a kind of link in the navbar before. We use the same link. Yeah, there we go, these ones. So we use the same thing here. Okay, so the help part, I don't think we have a link for this yet. Probably we can just route them to the home page. So I'll call this help. So the help, we have payment options. We have the returns. Then we have privacy policies, right? I'm just going to remove all of this. So we have help, we have the other one. Okay, so let's build out the layout. So how many divs do we need here? First I will be needing the separator. So let's put a separator here. Alright, the one coming from the UI, good. So we put our parent div there. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 different sections. This means 4 different divs. Alright, and yeah, so in the first one, we just need a way to render the actual logo. That's going to be /images /footer logo.png, and the alt, we can say this is the footer logo, good. And the other one has to do with the description text, and this is it. So you can just add a break here. Right, so the same thing we can apply here. Cora, Garbers, and whatever. Alright, so okay, so I think we should just be styling them the way we have them now. Okay. Let's do my for there. Okay, it's not moving, that's weird. Let's refresh. Let's do my8. Well, I think you'll see this if you add more to it. Yeah, like that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to try to style all of this. So the class name here will be artist custom gray. Okay, so the distance from here and here is 50 pixels. Okay, alright, so let's go to the other part. It has a title, which is the links. So yeah, so the class name there is text custom gray, and I think text normal. Right, so spacing between here and here is 55. Okay, so we just want to do the links. So we have the index. We have the link there, and then we'll pass in index as key. And then, yeah, we need some sort of, link dot link, link dot link. So this is going to be link dot title. So link dot title. So link dot title. All right, and what else? Are we missing anything? Link dot link. Use the string link dot type. This should work. Did you mean link? Yeah, I mean link. Oh, links. So links dot map. We're supposed to just have link there. Next link. That will just come by default, by the way, so it's weird. Okay. Okay, so let's see the styling here. Custom. Oh, this is just black. And the gap between each of them is like 46. So it's actually medium. Okay, very good. So we'll do the same thing for the app. And also, finally, we have the newsletter part. So we need the input and then the button. So yeah, we can actually get the input from Shadcn, right? So we can just grab one of the inputs and component we have here. Okay, so we can install this. Okay, so yeah, let's install the input. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so that's good. And then we can have the little subscribe with the underline right there. That's just going to be a test. by the way. So let's do if and subscribe. Yes, the text is black, all uppercase, and medium. Medium. Let's see what we have. Okay, this will be the placeholder. So yeah, we're going to have this underline. So underline, and then we can do the underline offset. And let's do 4. Okay, 4. Oh, let's do 6. Okay, is 6 not a thing? I doubt maybe 5 is a thing. That's weird. Only 4 works. 4 what? 4 pixel. So do 6 pixel. Okay, go back, sorry. Alright, so all of this we can actually put in the right order. Alright, all the different divs we're having. Flex, justify, between, with full, colon, md flex row, and gap can be it. Let's see what that gives to us. Okay, yeah, so looking good. So we have some padding, some internal padding. So we click on this and this like 100 pixel. Let's just do 70. A little bit too much. Okay. So we have another separator within there. So I'm just going to pull this within. So that will do py. Let's apply padding bottom 16 right there for the footer. Okay. So what else do we want to match? Oh, this one should be outside of the whatever. It's to be separate on its own. Okay, there we go. And here is 48. So then what we can do is very good. And also let's not forget our copyright. This is just a test. Let's include it. Text custom gray. Okay, so it needs to be in the same proportion as that specification. So that specification is like is this one. So we're going to group both of these two. So we're going to just group both of them and paste it in there, and we just cut and have it in here. That should give us the desired behavior. Boom, so there we are. We basically have all the setup, everything we'll be needing for this one. And yeah, so this is actually the summary of the first module, right? So now we might want to go into the other module. Watch out for the other video for the module 2 of this application. So we'll begin to work on the shop page, right? So currently we don't have anything on the shop, but then from when we watch on this video, you should be able to have more information about this one, right? So when you scroll down to see what we built, it looks so good, right? Very good, right? So yeah, so this is something. Let's check it out on mobile. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so one of the finishing touches would be, adding the proper patterns, right? So this one will only apply to all of these sections, right? This one between here is like 131. So we'll go to page and everything here, basically. So we're going to have mx. Is it mx or px? Let's try mx first. Let's do mx4. 130 pixel. Let's try that and see. Okay, we don't need it for the row section, unfortunately. We need it from here onwards. Very good. So we don't need it here. This has to be full width. And we don't need it in the footer. Yeah, so I think we've been able to, drastically paint a very good picture of all of this. So let's check the mobile version. Let's check this out. Good, looking clean. Very good, very good. So we'll just add a little bit of spacing to the input before the subscribe. Right, so let's go to footer. Let's go in here. So the input before the subscribe, that's right here. Let's just do a gap of 4. Boom, we're good. All right, so this is it. We've come to the end of this lesson, and definitely catch you on the next one.